Thank you, Mitt Romney, for clarifying matters. And in case anybody's wondering, I am a 47%er, and you probably are too. We'll be back in a few minutes to kick this off with Arnie Arneson.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Ed Fallon here, folks. Gateway Market and Cafe is your locally owned source for specialty groceries. Enjoy chef-crafted, prepared foods, artisan baked goods, organic produce, specialty cheeses, and hand-selected wines and craft beer. Visit the lively cafe for breakfast, lunch, or dinner 7 days a week. Gateway Market is centrally located on the corner of Martin Luther King Jr. Parkway and Woodland Ave. Stop by or visit www.gatewaymarket.com for more details. That's Gateway Market, folks. Good food, great community.
Tim Reynolds with Reynolds Energy Solutions will give you a comprehensive energy audit that will cost you nothing. Tim will identify the many ways in which you can reduce energy use while saving money. Ed Fallon had Tim over for an audit last month and was amazed at how much energy was going through the roof, the doors, and the windows. So, before the cold winds of winter blow, give Tim a call at 515-802-2801. That's 515-802-2801.
This moment of silence brought to you by Tally's Restaurant Bar and Catering, home of Des Moines' premier rooftop dining experience. Located in the heart of Beaverdale, Tally's offers speedy and affordable rooftop lunch, catering for events both large and small, innovative cuisine, as well as vegetarian and gluten-free menus. Come to Tally's for live music, dry-aged steaks, Sunday brunch, and all-you-can-eat ribs every Monday night. Tally's Restaurant Bar and Catering at 2712 Beaver Avenue. Call 279-2067. That's 279-2067.
Open Sesame is Des Moines' premier Lebanese cafe. This month, Open Sesame is offering an unbeatable lunch special on Monday and Tuesdays. Mention the Fallon Forum when you order anything on Open Sesame's delicious lunch menu and get the second item for half price. That's right, buy one, get one for half price. Open Sesame's pita wraps, salads, soup, and mouth-watering Mid-Eastern specialties will have you and your dining partner coming back again and again. Open Sesame at 313 East Locust Street in Des Moines' historic East Village.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Lovely day in central Iowa, folks, and when I sit directly in front of the state capitol like this, it looks like I have a big pointy head. Isn't that cool? A big pointy head? Speaking of pointy heads, Mitt Romney, gosh, I don't know where this guy's coming from, but I think he's going to be this is his last shot at being president, and I don't think it's going anywhere. But there is plenty to talk about, and I'm delighted to have Arnie Arneson joining us. Arnie is a talk show host, among other things, extraordinary from New Hampshire. Always a delight to have you on the program. Arnie, how are you?
Let me just say something, Ed. I can't hear you because whatever's happening is once you click me on, your voice suddenly got skewed.
You can't hear me right now?
No, I can't.
Oh, what do we do about that?
Now I hear you.
Okay, good. All right.
Okay, we're back. We're back.
Good.
Whatever they did, they fixed it.
Sorry, a slight glitch there in the studio, but it is recovered. Mitt Romney, where to start? I want to find out more about the race just across the border from you there in Massachusetts and whatever thoughts you have about the election. But perhaps you've seen these clips of Mitt Romney saying things that, well, they're taking some liberty with what has been said. But just see what you think of these, just for the fun of it, okay?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I don't call the poorest 40% of America lazy, but when I do, I charge $50,000 a plate to hear me. It must really suck to be a Romney supporter. How humiliating would it be to hope your candidate comes down with a horrible 2-month case of laryngitis for his own good?
God.
Insulted to date, Great Britain, and we're going to have a fellow from Great Britain on the show later. The guy, the spokesperson for Greenpeace International is joining us. Great Britain, the Palestinians, Russia, China, half the U.S. are intelligence. I mean, yeah, that would sum it up so far.
God.
Hey, Mitt, you know that huge lead Obama has? You built that. I love that one. Oh, and here's my favorite, Willy Wonka. Oh, so you don't care about 47% of the country? tell us again how it's the other guy that's divisive?
Yeah.
Yes, you heard correctly. Cancel all my political ads. Just running Romney speeches from here on out. Why not? I mean, the guy, you can't make this stuff up in political ads. I feel weird today. It's like 47% of me wants to lie around and have welfare babies, and the other 53% is just an a-hole. Okay, are we being too hard on Romney here, Arnie?
Well, I think you're right. The best asset for Barack Obama in this campaign season is going to be Mitt Romney. My favorite headline was from Salon.com. Paul Ryan reconsiders decision, or no. It was just something about the fact that, like, why did I make this decision? You know, to be like the second to Mitt Romney. This is we're living in very strange times. You started this broadcast by talking about the 47%. So I thought I wanted to give you another 47% number.
Okay.
And I'm going to take you back to November 16th, 2011.
Okay.
Let me read you the headline: 47% of Congress members are millionaires, a status shared by only 1% of Americans.
Interesting.
Isn't that interesting? You've got to hold on to this, everyone. 47% of Congress members are millionaires.
And if memory serves, 100% of the U.S. Senate is millionaires, are millionaires.
It wouldn't surprise you. That's 249 current members are millionaires. And one of the reasons why the Center for Responsive Politics was telling this story is that, you know, when all of us were suffering an economic downturn, it seemed like members of Congress weren't. And here is the point that they made. The vast majority of members of Congress are quite comfortable financially.
Oh, yeah.
While many of their own constituents suffer from economic hardships. Now listen to this quote. Few Americans enjoy the same financial cushions maintained by most members of Congress, or the same access to market-altering information that could yield personal financial gains.
Yeah.
So again, now has Mitt Romney talked about that 47%?
You know, not that I could recall, but there's still time.
Yeah, there's still someone should shove it in front of him and let him know that. But I think the problem here is that it's not a story of 99 to 1. It's not a story of inequality. It's not a story about the 47%. It's the story about the fact that so much that's happening in this campaign is not transparent. It is about money that we don't know where it's coming from.
Thanks to Citizens United.
Oh, it's really, really disgusting. I did WGBH in Boston yesterday, and I was on with the former chairman of the Republican Party.
Nice.
And I brought up the fact, we were talking about this incredible amount of money that Sheldon Adelson is spending. He's already spent $70 million. He's about to spend $100 million at a minimum.
He's the casino mogul, right? Among other things.
From China.
Yeah.
From Vegas and China. And I think most of his money now is coming from out of the United States, like Macau and Singapore, and I think like 90% of it. So his Vegas casino is small potatoes compared to what he's doing with all the money that he's bringing in from foreign sources.
Yeah,
so let's start with that.
Yeah, we have a ban on contributions from outside from non-Americans.
Yeah, but it all comes through Sheldon.
Yeah, it's a good way to do it.
You just launder it through Sheldon.
Sure.
You can do it through as a casino in Macau.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. There are two stories with Sheldon Adelson that are really important for us to remember. Sheldon is different from a lot of the other people that are spending money in this campaign. Why? Because he wants you to know who he is. He wants to go on record how much he is spending.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I don't know. Maybe he has an ego problem. I have no idea. But he really wants people to know. Think of the hundreds of millions of dollars that are being spent, and we have no idea.
I mean, we know about him. We know about the Koch brothers. We know about maybe a few others. But you're right. Most of it is under the radar, not even detectable.
And it's intentional.
Yes.
It's intentional. So in some ways, here's the beauty of what Sheldon is doing. Sheldon is saying, look at me, because we are.
You guys are on a first-name basis. That's cool.
Oh, yeah, but as a result, we are not even focusing on where all the other insidious money is going. And Sheldon is being brilliant because he is also leveraging his $100 million investment. I'm going to recommend an article. Politico sat down with Sheldon Adelson, and they did a one-on-one. It is the most interesting article you can read at Politico. Go grab it today.
He agreed to an interview with Politico?
Yes. And it's an amazing story. But here's one of the more powerful things that comes out of this. He hates Barack Obama. Everybody knows that. He wants to make sure, that he loves Israel. He's a good friend of Bibi Netanyahu. He wants to shaft Barack Obama, and he wants to set it up for Mitt, even though he really doesn't like Mitt. But Mitt is easily controlled, and Obama is not, okay? So that's what we know about Sheldon. But there are a couple of other things you need to know about Sheldon. What does Sheldon hate as much as he hates Barack Obama?
You and me?
Unions.
Unions.
Yeah. Now you need to know something else. Sheldon Adelson has the only non-union casino in Vegas. The only non-union casino.
I'm surprised that doesn't spread. I
want people to know this. Why do you think I'm going crazy on the air telling everyone this? The reason I tell you this is that he has now saturated the top of the ticket. He has now also done something else that comes out in his Politico article. What happens in the article is you also find out that he doesn't want to see duplication of effort. And since he is willing to let you know how much he is spending, he has already sat down with all the other 501c4s and nonprofits that are laundering all this money, where the money is coming in and you have no idea who's bringing it in, but you know exactly how they're spending it. And what he has said to, like, Crossroads GPS and all those Restore Our Future, is he said, we're going to work together because I don't want to overlap.
Now, we can't forget, Arnie, that when Citizens United first came about, there were unions supported that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, which is shocking to me that labor unions would support something as horrific as a court ruling that basically, eliminated any ability to know where money was coming from. I found that shocking.
But you see, here's the problem. It didn't. Nothing in that decision says that you can't pass laws that require transparency. But the problem is you have to pass the damn law. And we didn't pass the damn law. So what happened is we have the worst of everything. We have unlimited money, and we have no knowledge where it is coming from.
And how is that going to change? I don't see any will, especially among Republicans, and maybe Democrats will come to their senses, but I don't see that happening. I don't see any will to get any legislation passed that would affect Citizens United.
We are the will. When you poll people, 70, 80, 90%, even the majority of Republicans want this money to be known. And here's the kicker. This is so important, Ed. Your audience needs to know this. I'm going to ask a question. What did the Democrats not include in their platform that we found out during the convention, and suddenly people had this big fight and went, we need to put it back in? What were the two issues?
I can't remember.
God and Jerusalem. Remember that?
No.
Yes.
God was left out of the Democratic Party platform?
Left out. You don't know what God and which God?
I was going to say, which God?
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, but the God and Jerusalem was not included in the platform, and they had this vote, and it was really kind of interesting because when they called the vote, God and Jerusalem didn't actually win in a voice vote, but they basically overrode the voice vote, and they shoved God and Jerusalem back in.
So really, in what capacity did God and Jerusalem find their way back into the Democratic Party platform?
The hell knows? They just thought they needed to be politically correct. To whom, I don't know.
Well, what does it actually say? What does the platform now say relevant to those?
I think the thing about Jerusalem was something about maybe Jerusalem being the capital
of Israel.
I don't even remember because it is not. To me, it is not what this election is about. But for a lot of people, they're making God this election because their God has to defeat your God.
So was this kind of an attempt by some Democrats to preemptively?
No, the Republicans noticed it.
Okay.
They made a bitch about it, and they put it back into the platform. Now, wait a minute.
Republicans noticed that it wasn't in there, and so Democrats responded by kowtowing to them.
They kissed their ring. Now, I have a question.
Yeah.
What was not in the Republican platform that nobody mentioned?
Probably lots of good things, but what do you have in mind?
Okay. So for the last maybe 12 years, the Republicans have always talked about money in politics. They love money in politics. They think that money is mother's milk of politics.
Free speech.
No. But they've always put into their platform the requirement that at least there be transparency. They don't care how much money you spend. They don't care how many commas are in the checks. They want unlimited cash. But they've always said, but the most important thing for democracy, for the voter, is to know who is spending the money on what.
So that was
that has always been in until, guess what? this year.
So was it in state party platforms across the country?
I just know about the national platform. What I know is the national platform had always included the demand, the requirement, the request, the desire for transparency. And guess what was not in this Republican platform? How come there was no big fight about that? How come the Democrats never said boo? Never said boo. How come you don't know
because
that?
47% of them and the other members of Congress are millionaires, perhaps.
Yeah. Well, I'm just telling you, it's absolutely outrageous.
So back to the Democratic Party platform issue. Why do you think they felt so compelled to include God and Jerusalem in the platform? Is it because of pressure from donors or just wanting to preempt the Republicans being able to use that against them somehow?
Well, first of all, number one, they did use it against them. Because, Ed, I hate to break it to you may be the only person that didn't know about God and Jerusalem.
I didn't know about it. I actually didn't.
Because the Republicans made sure everybody knew. See, we are the party of God. They are the party of not.
I don't remember there being any coverage about that here in Iowa, but I might have missed it.
Trust me.
I believe you.
Look what happened. Look at the story with Bibi Netanyahu. Look what's going on. Where this is absolutely true. I have a friend who's a liberal Democrat. The other day I'm on the phone with her, and she's very angry at Barack Obama. Why? Because Barack Obama, she says, threw Bibi under the bus. I said, really? I said, why? She said, because Barack Obama is not meeting with Bibi Netanyahu when he goes to the U.S. So I'm like, oh my God, he agreed to meet with him. He's not meeting with him. He's giving him the cold shoulder. Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Barack Obama went to the UN. He gave his speech. He met with no leader. None. Not one. He didn't meet with Spain. He didn't meet with Portugal. He didn't meet with China. He didn't meet with Germany. He met with none. So what did Bibi imply with leaker in chief? What Bibi implied was that he was basically being snubbed by Barack Obama. Yeah. Well, it played well with my girlfriend, who's very Jewish, who decides that anything that even suggests that someone maybe wants to even question Israel must mean that they don't support Israel. This is what Bibi has done. Bibi has twisted the facts. He's got involved with the politics. And what most people don't know is that Bibi Netanyahu and Mitt Romney are old financial bedfellows.
I am not surprised.
They worked together in Boston in the world of finance.
Hey, in the limited time left here, Arnie, let me ask you. Things are looking pretty good for Obama. I think there's probably very few scenarios in which he doesn't win in November. But what about the U.S. Senate? I mean, you're next door to a race that's very heated. That in the last poll that I saw, even though Romney is actually losing Massachusetts 64-31 against Obama, former governor losing by a huge margin, 2-1 in his own state. Elizabeth Warren doesn't have that kind of a margin, but she is now edging ahead of Scott Brown. What's your take on that race and some of the other close Senate races around the country?
You didn't watch the debate on Thursday?
No, I missed it.
It was not a celebration of debates. Both of them were not fabulous, but I guess I got to thank Scott. Scott Brown is not only easy on the eyes, he's very attractive. He's also charming. He's fun. He's someone you want to go to dinner with. You'd love to go to a game with. He's a wonderful presenter.
I guess he's got it.
Here's the problem. He was a jerk on Thursday.
He came off that way?
He came across absolutely that way.
Huh.
And the problem is that the one thing Scott has going for him is that the one thing I want Elizabeth Warren to remind everyone is that, you may like Scott Brown. You may think he's charming. On occasion he may not vote with Republicans, but that may be 1 or 2 votes. But for the most part, he's always voting with the Republicans. The most important thing you need to know about Scott Brown is that he will vote for the Republican leadership. And the Republican leadership will ultimately undermine everything Barack Obama wants to do and everything you want for your future. So you can like him, just don't damn vote for him. And that's something that Elizabeth has had a tough time reminding people because Scott is so likable. But here's the other thing he's doing. He's bringing up that question about Elizabeth Warren and her Native American roots. And I want to remind everyone of this story. Elizabeth Warren was told historically by her family that she was a Native American. Would you ever say to your grandma or your mother or your father that you're liars? Would you assume that the story they are telling you about their history and about their heritage is true? Well, guess what? Elizabeth did what you would do, what I would do. And it turns out that it was family lore.
Well, and more to the point, who cares? How does it affect your ability to be a good U.S. senator?
Because Scott Brown is suggesting that she used her Native American status to get into
Harvard. Yeah,
she did not. She did not, and he knows it.
Yeah.
But you know what? To suggest it is to make it true. when you actually look for the truth, just the way Elizabeth Warren was forced to actually challenge her parents, you find out it wasn't true.
A politician lying. Well, that's never happened before.
Well, I mean, the fact that we think that is supposed to be acceptable behavior.
Yeah, it's not. Well, I think Elizabeth Warren would make a great U.S. senator. She's got a clear track record of standing up for the public interest, and that's much needed in Washington, D.C. So we can only hope that.
It's more than that. Elizabeth Warren doesn't need Barack Obama. Barack Obama needs Elizabeth Warren.
There you go. Hey, Arnie, and America needs Arnie Arneson. I really appreciate the work you're doing, Arnie, and I appreciate you taking the time to be on our program today. We shall keep in touch.
Take care. Thank you so much.
And if folks want to get in touch with you or hear your broadcast, they can do that on your website, correct?
That's right. You go to nhnewsviewsblues.org, and you can get podcasts and RSS feeds of all our shows.
NH News Blues.
Newsviewsblues.org.
Newsviewsblues.org. Arnie, thanks so much.
Welcome. Bye-bye.
Folks, we'll be back in a few minutes. I want to introduce you to a local 47%er. We're also going to talk about a fantastic production here in the local theater community. And a little bit later, we're going to talk with a representative of Greenpeace International. Greenpeace has come under some heat lately. A gentleman will be contacting us all the way from England, evening time, tea time out there in jolly old England. We'll talk with Ben Edflo when we get back a little bit here on the Fallon Forum.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
This is Dr. Holding of the Story County Veterinary Clinic. For 15 years, we have been spaying and neutering feral cat groups at affordable prices. Wild cats destroy game birds and songbirds. A single female cat can produce over 4,000 kittens in 7 years. The shelters are full, so unwanted kittens will be put to sleep. Your cats will stay home and stay healthy. Call us for all your dog and cat needs at the Story County Veterinary Clinic between Ames and Nevada on Highway 30, 1 mile east of Interstate 35, 515-232-8766.
Times are tough, and most people are just trying to make their cars last a little bit longer. That's why you should know about Sargent's Garage in Des Moines. You can trust Sargent's to make the right diagnosis and give you a fair price. Whether it's a routine oil change or a major repair, Sargent's always does outstanding work. So don't give up on that old car just yet. Call Sargent's Garage at 246-8149. That's 246-8149 for Sargent's Garage.
Hi, folks. It's Ed Fallon here. Proof Restaurant at 13th and Locust. You've probably been there for their award-winning, nationally recognized lunch specials. Well, now Proof is open Thursdays and Fridays for supper. And here's where the chefs really get creative. Let me tell you, they're like artists, okay? I've been there, and it is one of the best meals I have had in Des Moines. I've heard that from other people. You got to check it out. Proof for supper, Thursdays and Fridays, and also the second Saturday of the month. Do not assume you can get in. Make reservations. Contact Proof Restaurant online at proofrestaurant.com or 244-0655. That's 244-0655.
Well, hi, I'm Rob Spearman. I'm a broker-owner of RE/MAX Real Estate Concepts in Des Moines, Iowa. Give us a call if you're looking at buying or selling a home, or if you're having trouble on your mortgage payments or looking to purchase foreclosures. We have the agents to help you, experienced, outstanding agents. Our office number is 515-276-2872. Or if you'd like to look at homes, go to our website, homeconnectusa.com.
There is hope. Visit groundwire.net and chat now with a live coach for answers.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Thank you, Mr. Baber's Neighbors. I also want to thank Brother Trucker and Pumptown for providing glorious music for this program. So three of many great local bands we have here in Des Moines. or in central Iowa. Before I introduce you to a 47%er, I want to welcome Carrie Scram to the program. Carrie is calling us, and Carrie, thank you for finding time to visit. You are a busy gal these days.
I am. Thank you, Ed, for having me back on.
Writing plays, raising a family, acting in plays.
Yes.
Yeah. Sense and Sensibility. This is a famous novel by Jane Austen. I believe it's been made into a screenplay as well. But you are the author of the theater production. We're having the world premiere here in Iowa.
Yes.
How's it going?
It's going so well. We're so excited. We're about to enter our final weekend, and we have sold out every performance except one. Our first Sunday matinee did not sell out, but it came awfully close. So we're really excited.
The weather was probably too nice that day.
It might have been.
So let's hope for bad weather. No, I don't think 11. I mean, I saw the play. It was fantastic. I mean, I think people underestimate just how much talent there is in Des Moines, not just among musicians, artists, actors, actresses. It is really, I mean, I call us the cultural and culinary crossroads of the continent, and I don't think I'm out of line. We really have come a fantastic distance in terms of artistic expression here in Des Moines.
I would agree. The cast is so solid. Of course, we've got a majority of the RTI company in it. They're a great group of actors, and then we have a few other local actors that aren't company members, and they're just fantastic.
Yeah,
it's been so fun.
And for a play that is really rather serious in terms of the actual content, there's an awful lot of humor involved as well. I mean, I think you did a fantastic job, I think, of working in the funny stuff amidst all the serious stuff. So, and so it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, correct?
That's correct. 7:30 Thursday through Saturday, 2 o'clock on Sunday, and you can get tickets at MidwestTix.com.
Okay.
Or get there early and buy your tickets right there at the box office. But do get there early because we have been selling out.
Okay. And this is at the Des Moines Social Club at 4th and Walnut in downtown Des Moines.
Yeah.
And this is your first. This is the first production you've actually written.
This is my very first play I have ever written. That's correct.
Something.
Actually, not that I've written a novel or anything either. I've never written anything before.
Wow. So. And you've got something else you're contemplating, perhaps, or going to take a break from that?
I do have another idea that is sort of growing, sort of based on another Jane Austen novel, but I don't think I would adapt it as straightforwardly as I did Sense and Sensibility, but might take a bit of the storyline and the characters and see what happens. So
good. Well, good luck with that, folks. Carrie Scram, the playwright of Sense and Sensibility, coming into its third, I believe, and final week here in Des Moines. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you want tickets, you should act very quickly and go to MidwestTix.com. Carrie, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you again, Ed. I appreciate it.
All right.
Okay.
The 47%. Who are they? Well, I'm a 47%er. I'm suspecting that you probably are as well. So is Bob Basham, and so is this woman he describes in a very, very excellent letter to the editor recently. He writes, "Here is a profile of one of the 47% of Americans who consider themselves victims." This is kind of parodying Romney's characterization. "Consider themselves victims, are dependent on government, pay no federal income taxes, and will not vote for Mitt Romney because they like government taking care of them." Okay, here's the profile that Bob presents. Female, 87, owns her home, works part-time because work is a deeply ingrained value at 87, still working part-time. Married to the man she loved for the rest of his life, raised and continues to raise her family, believes running hot water inside her home is her biggest technological improvement. I like this woman. That's my kind of technology. One of the highest percentages of her money goes for taxes. Okay, Mitt? 87-year-old woman lives very simply. One of the highest percentage of what she spends her money on goes to taxes. Except for his reasons, Mitt is correct. She will not vote for him. By the way, she's my mom. Thank you, Bob. That's a great letter to the editor. And yeah, again, I just can't see a pathway to victory for Mitt Romney. And I'm hoping that the second 4 years of Barack Obama's presidency will result in more boldness, more willingness to say no to the special interests that we have always hoped he would say no to. We'll see what happens with that, folks. Do take a minute to register to vote if you're not. If you want to vote early, absentee balloting is available. There's also satellite voting. Me, I'm old-fashioned. I'm going to go to the polls. Just it's in my blood. I like to do it. Makes it into a little bit of a holiday thing. So I'm going to do that. As I've said, I'm also not going to vote for Leonard Boswell. I have got a lot of flack for that. I have gotten more flack than I thought I would for that. And I want to talk about that a little bit. People say they like politicians who speak their mind, who are honest and straightforward and say what they think is truthful. I really believe strongly that Leonard Boswell should not be reelected. So I get flack for that from some people. So would you rather I just shut up and pretend that it's okay to have this guy back in Congress? And again, I know the argument. Well, Latham is much, much worse. Yes, Latham is much, much worse, or at least much worse. But again, it's not like we're electing a president. I understand the argument, even if you're unhappy with Barack Obama. And a lot of my friends and fellow travelers are unhappy with him on a lot of issues. There's a lot of things that I'm disappointed with him on. But I compare that to the Romney-Ryan record and the Romney-Ryan budget in particular. And I look at the good things that Obama has done. And I also think about the office. I mean, this is the presidency. This is one dude doing this job. Oh, he's got a vice president as well. And he's got a vast administration. He's got incredible power. And he has the ability to, in the next 4 years, probably appoint members to the U.S. Supreme Court. So you like Citizens United? Chances are you don't. I know very few people who think Citizens United, and that again is the Supreme Court ruling that has just absolutely opened the floodgates to big money in politics. That's the Supreme Court ruling that has allowed money from wealthy individuals, from corporations directly, without any transparency or accountability. That's what our Supreme Court has been bringing us. Okay, and there are plenty of other bad decisions I could tell you about. That's the one that strikes me as the most horrific. You want more of that? Or would you like to see a change? Again, that was a 5-4 vote. We could change the course of this country significantly with a less partisan, less politicized, less corporate-friendly Supreme Court. We do that with an Obama presidency. Again, I don't see Obama, appointing radicals or even folks who, might be in sync with a lot of the principles that the Democratic Party purports to support. But I see him nominating people who are at least reasonable, not extremists, not inclined to gut, a century and a half worth of law relevant to campaign finance. Maybe a new Supreme Court would even revisit the Citizens United decision if the appropriate steps were taken through the judicial process. So, if for no other reason than that, you should be supporting Barack Obama over Mitt Romney. Okay, but you cannot make the same case with the U.S. Congress. And I understand. Okay, there is a chance, especially as Romney tanks. Maybe there will be some coattails from Barack Obama that will help Democratic candidates for Congress around the country. I'm doubtful of that. I don't think it's impossible to imagine the Democrats picking up some seats again. It's going to be tough because this is the first year in redistricting. This is the first year with the new legislative districts and congressional districts. And in some states, Iowa, we do it pretty well here in Iowa. We have a system where a nonpartisan agency, the Legislative Services Agency, drafts the boundaries. It's a very good system. It works pretty well. Actually, it probably works better than any system in the country. But you have some places, Texas comes to mind, where it is absolutely gerrymandered. The only example I can think of gerrymandering here in central Iowa is the Polk County Board of Supervisors. They cut up the districts pretty partisan. But in other parts of the country, the congressional districts and the legislative districts themselves are based entirely on partisan priorities. They're gerrymandered. And so with so many Republican governors and Republican legislatures around the country, it's very likely that these new seats have been crafted in such a way as to benefit Republicans. So, I mean, given that on top of all the other concerns, I have a real hard time seeing how Democrats ever gain control in the U.S. House, at least this time around. Again, maybe they make some gains and it happens in the future. I think, again, the best hope to prevent Paul Ryan and the crazies in the House from doing all sorts of nutty stuff is to assure that we've got a Democratic Senate. And again, Democratic Senate has been kind of lukewarm too, but gosh, put in the brakes on Paul Ryan and company, please. We need a Democratic Senate as well. Again, nothing we can do about that here in Iowa, but look around the country. Consider supporting. At least you can send a donation maybe to Elizabeth Warren or some of the other Democrats who are in tight races that will help assure that the Senate will remain in Democratic hands. Again, I think right now that ally for Barack Obama is going to be very helpful. But regarding the House, I don't see it happening, and I don't see Leonard Boswell winning. The article in today's paper kind of made me laugh. And also, I'd heard about it even beforehand from a few people who were chastising me for saying that don't waste your vote on Boswell. The poll is done by it's not a genuine polling firm. It's a strategic think tank. It's a hired gun. It's somebody that's been bought to present information that suggests that the candidate is doing well. And why they want Boswell to be seen as viable, seen as doing well, is because if he's not doing well, of course, the money's not going to come. I understand that argument, so if the money comes, then maybe he'll do better. But, the last check, he was being outspent, last time we noticed in the summertime, last report, outspent 6-1. You don't win when you're outspent 6-1. And I hate to say that. I've been outspent 2-1 twice and won. But it's a hard row to hoe. And again, it can happen, but in this election, especially with there being less contrast between Boswell and Latham than you would hope. And I mean, more contrast helps excite the political base, and it's not happening. So I'm sorry, folks. I'm going to stick by what I said. I think if Leonard Boswell loses, no loss. The House will remain Republican one way or the other. In Latham, again, Latham is going to be hard to beat. I understand that, but I think I see a better chance to get a truly progressive Democrat in this congressional seat with a clear target like Latham, instead of trying to muck about in a primary against Boswell. Again, partly I'm speaking from experience. Tried that; it did not work very well. Okay. We're gonna switch gears shortly here and welcome Ben Aliff to the program. But I got to take a short break, and I want to thank our sponsors, the Progressive Coalition of Central Iowa, the Iowa chapter of the Sierra Club, and the Iowa chapter of Physicians for Social Responsibility. I also want to thank all of our business supporters, including Reynolds Energy Solutions. Tim Reynolds does energy audits, and this is a good time of the year to be thinking about calling Tim. The audit is an involved process that will determine where you're losing heat, how much you can save with, in some cases, very modest improvements. And some of those energy efficiency improvements can actually land you a rebate, so it doesn't cost anywhere near as much as it might otherwise. Tim is definitely worth checking out. He's young, he's passionate, he's got a great wealth of information. And I guarantee he will not only save you money, he'll reduce your carbon footprint. And for that, you will sleep better at night. So go to ReynoldsEnergySolutions.com and give Tim a shout now before it gets too darn cold and you're not going to want to have him opening your door. Anyway, folks, we'll be back in a few minutes with Greenpeace International.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Well, good morning. This is the 7th of June in the Lord's year 2010, and this is day 1 of WebcastOneLive.com. We will begin with Max World Live with my special guest, Tom Coates. In just a minute, there's Tom. Wait. Howdy. And we will be live for the very first time on Webcast One Live. someday we're going to look back on this and say, gosh, remember that old day in history? Wonder where Walter Cronkite was. He must have been around hanging there too. But actually, it's the beginning of Webcast One Live. And thank you for listening. Thanks, Rob Spearman, and everybody who's put together this project together. And we're ready to go live now. So thanks for listening to MaxWorldLive.com.
I can't tell you that it's going real well from time to time, but it is going, man.
Hi, folks. Ed Fallon here. When it is time to entertain, think of Gateway Market. Let them handle the details. Gateway offers a wide variety of stress-free options like cut-to-order cheese and charcuterie. There's a delicious olive bar and a wide variety of chef-prepared dips and spreads. Or let the catering team take care of the entire event, right down to the wine and beer pairings. The expert floral designers can even customize the perfect centerpieces. So stop by or visit Gateway Market for more information. Gateway is at Woodland and ML King in downtown Des Moines. Good food, great entertaining.
Nestled in the heart of downtown, Ritual Cafe is one of Des Moines' most unique places, offering a wide variety of coffee and tea. Ritual Cafe also serves the only all-vegetarian menu in town. And Ritual Cafe is a cultural hub for artists and musicians, with a performance stage hosting local, national, and international talent. Make Ritual Cafe a part of your daily ritual. On 13th Street between Locust and Grand in downtown Des Moines. And check out ritualcafe.com.
With warm weather finally here, it's time to think about upgrading the efficiency of your furnace and air conditioner. Leonard Tinker Heating and Cooling has provided honest, competent service for over 20 years. Whether it's your home or business, for repair work or to install a more energy-efficient furnace or air conditioner, call Leonard Tinker at 263-0422. That's 263-0422. For honest, competent heating and cooling service, call Leonard Tinker at 263-0422.
Wow, some wedding.
Yeah, I've never seen a bride in coveralls.
Right, and skipping down the aisle to accordion music.
Not to mention the reception. That wedding cake was a freaking fruit cake.
It's your wedding. Don't leave anything to chance. Diana's Wedding Cakes. Using only the finest, freshest ingredients with free on-time delivery and setup. Choose one of Diana's custom designs or create your own. Call Diana's Wedding Cakes, 641-275-9279. That's 641-275-9279.
Tim Reynolds with Reynolds Energy Solutions will give you a comprehensive energy audit that will cost you nothing. Tim will identify the many ways in which you can reduce energy use while saving money. Ed Fallon had Tim over for an audit last month and was amazed at how much energy was going through the roof, the doors, and the windows. So, before the cold winds of winter blow, give Tim a call at 515-802-2801. That's 515-802-2801.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Welcome back, folks. Hey, a quick look ahead. Tomorrow, Colleen Rowley is joining me. Colleen is a former Iowan. She worked for the FBI and became a whistleblower and became one of Time Magazine's Persons of the Year. Pretty cool. She'll be with us tomorrow. She'll be in Iowa, actually, giving a presentation. Dan Kelly, state rep from Newton, also with us tomorrow. And on Friday, Dr. Charles Goldman. We're talking capital gains, the minimum wage, and other issues that Mitt Romney wishes would just go away. But today I'm delighted to have Ben Aliff on the phone with us all the way from London, England. Ben, welcome to the Fallon Forum.
Thank you very much.
You're with Greenpeace International.
That's right, yes. We're based in Amsterdam and part of the Greenpeace organization that works all around the world.
And we've seen Greenpeace in the news recently, and I want to talk about that. But give folks a little background. We don't have a strong Greenpeace presence here in Iowa, but maybe that should change. You do some good work. Tell us about your organization and its focus.
Sure. So, Greenpeace was founded in 1961 in Vancouver, in Canada, when a bunch of intrepid people decided to try and stop a nuclear test up in Alaska, in Amchitka. And really from there, the organization has grown into what it is today. So we have offices in about 35 countries around the world. We have over 1 million activists who work with us, and we work on a number of campaigns. So trying to save the Arctic, tackling climate change, promoting clean energy efficiency, right through to things like toxics in our water, coal, forests, and agriculture. So a very, very broad sweep.
Yeah, I think when people think of Greenpeace, they think of a direct action. They think of ships getting in the way of whaling vessels, or again, like you said, trying to plant yourself at ground zero to prevent a nuclear test. I think of some very, very risky and very, very powerful actions. Sometimes I think we've seen Greenpeace in the paper here with a banner hung from a high place, or getting a point across in a way that requires a little bit of skill to deliver the message.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, you probably wouldn't see me up on a high tower because I've got a very, very strong fear of heights.
Well, see, I like heights, so if you need anybody, let me know.
You're a braver man than I am, Ed.
Or foolish.
Yeah, I mean, we do. It's we still have a fleet of ships that go around the world. We work on whales still. We do all those things. We still have activists out with bats and stuff like that. But we're also a positive solutions-led organization. So it's not just about Greenpeace saying no to things. We are trying to work with governments, with companies, with people to promote things like clean energy, sustainable forms of logging, sustainable fishing. So, we have changed from an organization that just says no a lot.
So I believe the recent lawsuit we read about was relevant to Shell, oil company, suing you over some aspect of their proposed drilling in the Arctic. Do I have that right?
Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, Shell, they're not really drilling in the Arctic this year. They've made such a mess, such a hash of the preparations to drilling off Alaska this year that they're not actually doing much. But Greenpeace has been running a campaign against Shell for about a year or so to try and raise awareness of what the company's doing up in Alaska, and just a general threat to the Arctic, which is being changed fundamentally by climate change. And so Shell's response has been very, very strong, actually. So we've got more than 2 million people all around the world who've joined us to try and save the Arctic. And Shell's response has been to take Greenpeace through as many courts as it possibly can. And this latest court appearance was to try and stop Greenpeace International and Greenpeace Netherlands from coming near any Shell operation in Netherlands and possibly even around the world. So they're trying to use a legal sledgehammer to stop people explaining about what the risks that the company is taking in the Arctic and the threat that poses.
So what foundation is their lawsuit based on? I mean, is this something you really need to worry about? I mean, because that could be pretty expensive. They got pretty deep pockets.
They do. They've got much deeper pockets than Greenpeace has, that's for sure. I mean, in response to some campaigning that Greenpeace Netherlands did in Holland. So they did some protests at Shell gas stations. And we've done similar things in places like the UK, so in London. And it was really just I think Shell had enough of this rising campaign that's happened all around the world. So as far apart as New Zealand, in Russia, in Argentina, in the States, in Canada, a lot of people were getting quite upset about what Shell were doing. And it seems they didn't like it, and they've dragged us to the nearest court that they could. And the judges are currently sitting in Amsterdam working out whether or not there is a case here. So we'll be finding out in the next few days just what will actually happen.
So good luck with that. But what happens when it comes? You said you're not just about protesting, but you're a solutions-based organization as well. So saving the Arctic, I mean, what does that look like with ice melt happening at such a rapid rate with the projections? I mean, basically the Arctic is not going to be the same at all, and it's probably going to be the most changed landscape on the planet as climate change continues to move forward. So what do you do? How do you save the Arctic in that scenario?
Well, I think what we're proposing is three things. I mean, firstly, you are quite right. It is changing rapidly. The sea ice is going into what some scientists are calling a death spiral, and if we're serious about protecting this unique environment, home to indigenous communities that have lived there for thousands of years, some very, very special plants and animals, we need to act quickly. And so what Greenpeace is saying is three things. Firstly, we need to create an internationally protected sanctuary at the very, very top of the world. So at the moment, the very top of the Arctic is basically, it belongs to all of us. No one country owns it. And what we want to see is an international agreement to keep it that way.
And that's pretty much ocean, right?
Well, it's partly ocean in the summer and then ice cap in the winter. That's right. And then alongside that, what we want to see is within the Arctic, we want to see a ban on oil drilling and industrial fishing. So oil drilling, we've seen what happened in the Gulf of Mexico with the BP oil spill. If a similar thing happened in the Chukchi or the Beaufort in Alaska, Shell would simply not be able to deal with it, and we would be faced with the prospect of a gushing well that could lie under ice for months and would cause irreparable damage to this incredible ecosystem up on the North Slope. Industrial fishing, we've already seen what these giant fleets are doing to fish stocks around the world in places like Africa. As fish are migrating northwards into the Arctic as the oceans warm up, these industrial fleets are moving in there, and we believe they pose a very, very real risk to fish stocks and also the livelihoods of the indigenous native communities that have lived up there for so long. So our solution is based on these 3 points: no oil, no industrial fishing, and an international agreement to keep it off limits. And of course, alongside that, what we're doing is working with governments and companies around the world to try and reduce overall greenhouse gas emissions, so carbon dioxide, all these sort of things, because obviously putting a rope around the North Pole isn't going to protect it if we're still pumping tons and tons of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. So
do you have
together, we believe, are the solution.
Do you have countries that have signed on to that 3-point plan?
Well, we only launched the campaign in July in Rio at the Earth Summit. So what we're doing is working with members of places like the United Nations, trying to get people there behind us. But we've already had a phenomenal response from the public. So we've had some major stars that have joined the campaign. So people like Penelope Cruz, Paul McCartney, One Direction, the band. So some very, very big names have signed on, and I think that's testament to how people feel about the Arctic. It is a very, very special place, and it's under incredible threat. It really is the front line of the environmental fight now.
Well, how many countries are actually have corporations who are drilling oil there, or who are letting their commercial fishing vessels fish there? I mean, I can't imagine it's too many nations that are on the wrong side of this issue right now.
No, really. I mean, the focus is on the Arctic nations. So you have the United States, you've got Canada, Russia, and then the Scandinavian countries like Norway and Sweden and Denmark. So through them, you have some pretty big oil companies. For instance, Shell. In Russia, you have a company called Gazprom. ExxonMobil are getting quite active in the Russian Arctic. So they're the big threats, and these companies have a lot of money behind them, and it's going to be a tough fight. But we think it's a fight that needs to happen. And
they probably see a lot of profit potentially in continuing to do what they do, and in even expanding what they do, either oil wise or fishing wise.
Yeah, certainly with the oil industry, that's been the perception that the Arctic is the land of milk and honey for them, if you like. But interestingly, what we've been saying is that given the extreme conditions in the Arctic, so the darkness, the ice, it's a very, very difficult place for people to operate, and that means there are big costs. So you've seen this year, Shell have spent the best part of $5 billion preparing to drill in the Arctic. The program this year. Just today, Total, a French oil company, has said that they would never drill in the Arctic because it's too expensive and the risks of a BP-style spill are so big. So I think what you are seeing is that some companies have spent a lot of time hyping the Arctic and what they're going to do there, but in fact, we're seeing more and more that the reality is very, very different. And you do have to ask the question, is it really worth it?
Right. Hey, Ben, let me ask you a different question. Are you paying much attention to our presidential election here in the U.S.?
I am indeed. Yeah. Surprisingly, it's quite big news over here in the UK. You know, we have quite a lot on the news about, you know, the sort of the Romney, Obama, and of course Mitt Romney was recently over here in London just before the Olympics, roundly abusing London for its inability to run the game. So, we know all about him.
Is he still catching flack for that?
To be honest, he did a bit at the start because, I mean, I think it was, it wasn't a particularly nice thing to do from a statesman from across the pond with our, our nearest and dearest allies to come over and tell us how we couldn't run, a game, especially from someone who, ran it in Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
But actually, I mean, the games here were such a success.
Yeah,
and,
that's our impression.
Brought the country together and showed what Britain could do. That actually we didn't let someone as mean-spirited as Mitt Romney ruin our parade.
Well, good for you. And after he got done picking on the British, he came back. He came back to the U.S. and he came out against the wind energy tax credits, which is a big deal here in Iowa. We are I think we're the second state in the nation in terms of leading the way on wind energy. About 20% of our power now comes from wind. And Mitt Romney's campaign came out against tax credits that are desperately needed to keep the industry moving forward, and also went on to say that the wind energy industry was a boondoggle. So he's been really good at it. I mean, we've kind of forgotten about his gaffes against the British because now of course he's gone on to criticize 47% of us as being, liking entitlements and feeling we deserve food and health care.
I saw that.
So
it's incredible. I mean, you do wonder about the wind industry around the world. I believe is now worth something like over $2 trillion, and is seen to be around the world. Places as far apart as China, Germany, even here in the UK, big business. The wind industry works, and you would have thought that it would be a complete no-brainer to be supporting high-tech, cutting-edge. Clean technology
it should
provide, jobs and energy for the good people of Iowa.
It should have been a no-brainer because even our Republican senator, our Republican governor, even our Republican congressman who's really conservative came out against Mitt Romney on that issue. So you'd think it should have been a no-brainer. But let me ask you one more quick question, Ben. Most of Greenpeace's work appears to be in coastal areas or out in the ocean. Do you do any work relevant to interior lands such as ours here in the Heartland?
Well, I mean, we've done a lot of work actually. It's certainly in Greenpeace USA, and we're going to be doing more on this, looking at climate impacts.
Okay.
How places around the world are being impacted, through the droughts that have hit a lot of America, and looking at how we can protect homes and businesses and livelihoods from these future shocks.
Yeah.
Again, we've been doing a lot of work in the States to dampen down enthusiasm for things like high-polluting coal plants, pushing for much more clean wind energy. So these are the sort of things that I think would resonate with a lot of people in Iowa. And again, but alongside that, we do some of the bigger picture stuff, looking at places like the Arctic, which may seem a long way away from Iowa, but actually have a huge impact on all of us because of the importance of the Arctic's role in stabilizing the climate. So, if we're serious about making sure that the droughts that we see sweeping a lot of America don't get worse, then one of the things we need to do is look at protecting the Arctic.
Yeah. Ben, thank you so much for joining us, folks. Ben, and make sure I'm saying your name right. Ben Aliff?
Aliff, that's right.
Aliff, with Greenpeace International on the phone with us from London, England. Good luck in your efforts to protect all of planet Earth from Shell Oil.
Thanks, Ed.
All right. Good luck. And folks, Greenpeace International, an organization definitely worth checking out. I'm sure you can get their contact information online. And I appreciate the work they're doing on climate change, something that is very important here in this state as well, and that we have been talking about extensively as it has a significant effect on our agricultural economy. Want to remind folks that tomorrow night at Gateway Market at 2002 Woodland Ave in Des Moines, Green Drinks. It's a great opportunity to come together with other folks interested in the environment and energy and talk over some food and drink from one of one of Central Iowa's best local natural food grocery stores. Again, I will be back tomorrow with Colleen Rowley as my guest, formerly with the CIA, a whistleblower, and Times Person of the Year back in 2002. And I want to remind you, too, that at 1:30, Bradshaw will be with you. Thanks for joining us on this Webcast One live program, the Fallon Forum, right here broadcast in the Skywalk, Monday through Friday. I want to thank our producer, Maddie Arrington, and thank you for joining us.
I'm just saying. 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 Ching ching. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Feeling alone? God knows and He understands. Chat now with someone who cares at groundwire.net.
Well, hi, I'm Rob Spearman. I'm a broker-owner of RE/MAX Real Estate Concepts in Des Moines, Iowa. Give us a call if you're looking at buying or selling a home, or if you're having trouble on your mortgage payments or looking to purchase foreclosures. We have the agents to help you, experienced, outstanding agents. Our office number is 515-276-2872. Or if you'd like to look at homes, go to our website, homeconnectusa.com.
Hi, I'm J. Michael McCoy, and about 20 years ago, I went to a used car salesman by the name of John Hewitt. He had a little shop over there on North 2nd Avenue called John's Auto Sales, and I bought a car. I found that experience to be one that I had never had before from a used car salesman. He was honest, he was dependable, he had integrity, and he did what he said he was going to do. Well, over the years, between my kids and grandkids, I purchased 7 vehicles from John's Auto Sales. And last month, I asked him to be a sponsor. And he said not only would he like to be a sponsor, but he would offer a $100 tithe for every customer that came and bought a car from him directly to the church of your choice. I can tell you about their huge selection. I can tell you about their years of experience. I can tell you about their honest integrity. But all I really need to tell you is that I bought 7 cars, and you can trust them. John's Auto Sales, 5435 2nd Avenue, Des Moines.
You need a good ride when you hit the trail. Trust the man with the cars, and he goes by the name of Big John. Big John. Big John. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.